This bulletin is on Joy 99.7 and Hits 103.9 FM in Accra, on Love 99.5 FM in Kumasi, affiliates across Ghana's 16 regions. Around the world, it is at myjoyonline.com. Coming up, Industrial and Commercial Workers Union praised government for extending the COVID-19 relief package, saying it will go a long way to cushion Ghanaians whose incomes have been affected by the economic pressure brought by the pandemic.
We were expecting a budget that will look more, appealing to the average Ghanaian, in particular the average Ghanaian worker. And we have seen the semblances of coming into that direction.
We have reactions to yesterday's media budget review presented by the Finance Minister.
Also coming up in business, government insists 2020 mid-year review and supplementary budget measures will fast-track recovery of the economy. With details in 15 minutes.
Later in the bulletin, industry players welcome the decision by the NMC to reject the communication minister's attempt to limit GBC's channels.
There is no other way to interpret the decision of the National Media Commission apart from the fact that it says, look, the minister's directive cannot be complied with.
And later, Christian Council condemns governing NPP for refusing to sanction Hawa Kumsin, arguing the NDC may be justified in its call to members to defend themselves.
Impact is what we try to say, and I think those who are calling for people to defend themselves are right in a way, which we are against.
Thanks for your company. The details now. First, government says it is expecting the private sector to contribute 70 billion cedis to its 100 billion cedi economic recovery program. The finance minister announced in Parliament yesterday that the plan would deal with the effects of the COVID-19 pandemic over the next 3.5 years. The NDC minority in Parliament has dismissed the initiative as political campaign gimmick. Here's a news desk report.
The 3.5-year recovery and revitalization program will inject 100 billion cedis into the economy in 2 phases. The stabilization phase will run from July to end of year 2020, and a medium-term revitalization phase will accelerate the Ghana Beyond Aid transformation agenda. Government will provide 30 billion cedis, while it expects 70 billion from the private sector. So why exactly does government expect the private sector to raise the funds? Kweku Kwatin is Deputy Finance Minister.
It is an initiative, a partnership between government and the private sector to help the private sector themselves. In the coming weeks, we will lay out into greater detail how we're going to actualize this.
The mid-year budget review announced a host of freebies, including free water for 3 months and free electricity for Lifeline customers for the rest of the year. The controversial communication service tax will be reduced from 9 to 5%. Minority spokesperson on finance, Kezola Tufosen, says the finance minister's statements lacks transparency.
Let no one be deceived that this budget is going to bring us the hope. It is clear that this administration has spent 11.1 billion Ghana cedis on coronavirus without accounting for it.
The Industrial and Commercial Workers Union has meanwhile welcomed the many benefits detailed by the Finance Minister. Solomon Kote is Secretary General.
We were expecting a budget that will look more, appealing to the average Ghanaian, in particular the average Ghanaian worker. And we have seen the semblances of coming into that direction.
Secretary General of the Industrial and Commercial Workers Union, Solomon Kote, ending that Joy News report. 6 broadcasting channels operated by the state broadcaster GBC are intact, at least for now, following President Akufo-Addo's directive to the communications minister to suspend her moves to get GBC to reduce its channels on the digital terrestrial platform. The National Media Commission, which was petitioned on the matter by various agencies, said the move by the communications minister amounted to government control of the media, while the minority in parliament says the NMC's decision has vindicated them. Ningo Prampram MP Sam George tells Joy News the president is only riding on the back of the NMC.
President Akufo-Addo heard about this and knew about this since it broke in the media for almost 2 weeks. He failed to take action. Yesterday, the National Media Commission ruled on the matter. The president's letter is moot. It's political chicanery. It's political football. It's of no consequence. Because when the president should have acted, he failed to act. This is a decision of the National Media Commission. And it upholds the position that I and the minority have held on this matter, that the minister acted unconstitutionally.
Ningo Prampram MP Sam George. Let's head to the Ashanti region now. Police there has invited the assistant headmaster of the Ejisu Secondary Technical School for questioning over the detention of 2 students. Kofi Appiah allegedly forced the students to strip half naked and held them overnight for allegedly stealing the school's electric stabilizer. A taxi driver who spotted them attempting to jump a fence wall with a stolen item caught and handed them over to authorities.
One of the students drank liquid soap he picked from the detention room in what is believed to be attempted suicide. He started foaming from the mouth when the colleague shouted for help to attract teachers and students who rushed him to hospital. Police described the assistant headmaster's action as illegal and condemnable. ASP Godwin Ahianyo is the public relations officer at the Ashanti Regional Command.
One of the suspects, we understand, took in some substance suspected to be liquid soap, and he fell unconscious and was taken to the hospital. The other suspect is also assisting police in our investigations, whilst we also invited the said assistant headmaster to assist us. So they are collaborating with us, and I'm sure appropriate time the outcome of investigation will be made known to the public.
Meanwhile, the immediate past executive chairman of the Ghana National Education Campaign Coalition, Kofi Asare, is calling on the Ghana Education Service to sanction the assistant headmaster.
He has to be sanctioned because the punishment he meted out to the student is not consistent with the punishment regime of the Ghana Education Service, under which he is employed, and then also within whose jurisdiction he is the naturally supervisor of the school. And so, if you go out of the remit of your employment in respect of the guidelines that the employer has put in place to ensure that you discipline students, and you do something on your own, it means that you should be held as personally accountable for that particular conduct. And the extent to which that conduct affects the child, causes the child, if it's established that was the cause of the child's predicament, then you have to even face criminal sanctions in addition to the normal departmental inquiry and administrative sanction that will be meted out by his employer.
You had past executive chairman of the Ghana National Schools Association. This is still your election headquarters. Let's do some politics. Now, the Christian Council has condemned chairman of the governing NPP, Freddie Blay, over his refusal to initiate disciplinary actions against Hawa Kumsin over her involvement in the Kaswa shooting. Mr. Blay, in spite of the widespread condemnation and calls for the dismissal of Mrs. Kumsin, argued that the MP was rather a victim and her conduct does not breach any of the party's constitution rules.
Those who have expressed opinion, I won't stop them from expressing an opinion. I disagree with those who are calling for
some sanctions and resignations.
The party laws of the party do not call for any sanction in this circumstance.
You had chairman of the NPP, Freddie Blay, but General Secretary of the Christian Council, Dr. Cyril Fayusi, described Freddie Blay's comment as unfortunate.
It's the chairman of the NPP telling us that when we are going for voter registration, we should go with weapons. Is that the model he's trying to kind of show to all of us? If that is what he's trying to say, then I think those who are calling for people to defend themselves are right in a way, which we are against.
A 26-year-old second-hand shoe dealer is in police grips for abducting and defiling a 13-year-old girl at least for 3 days. Richard Nti also demanded and negotiated a 15,000 Ghana cedi ransom with the parents for release of the victim. Preliminary investigations by police, however, rules out kidnapping because he had used no force in perpetrating the alleged crime. My colleague Ohim Interior of our security desk has been following up on the case and will be bringing us details of this in our subsequent bulletin. Well, today's Arrival Live message. Thank God it's Friday. Our Arrival Live message is in the lyrics of this song by Lord Kenya. Driver, be patient on the road. Patience results in victory. Arrival Live tips on the 6 a.m. news brought to you by Bedrock Insurance Company Limited. Bedrock Insurance, protecting the things you truly value. And Toyota Ghana Limited, Toyota superior quality. My name is Maxwell Agbagba.